Hi guys, just a quick intro. I decided to make a Vise Stop for the small milling machine vise. I did make a stop for the Groz vise, the one that I use on the drill press now, and I didn't want to move that and take the mill vise off. So I thought, well, I'll do that. There are other things I'd rather be doing, or should be doing, like the acute sharpening system and numerous bits and pieces. Anyway, this is just a quick look at the process of putting it together. Basically two small bits of bar, quite a lot of setting up and drilling and tapping and all sorts, plus a wonderful mistake, and I hope you enjoyed the mistake. I included it. Quite a while ago we made a Vise Stop for this vise, which I was using on the mill, and I gave myself 4 height choices and it's been useful. I tend to keep this now for the drill press, so although I've got other things to do, I'm going to make one for this little milling vise. This little vise has 2 cap screws holding each jaw, and the cap screws in the fixed jaw, actually they're 6x1 metric, but this is threaded right through. So at the back here I've got access to 2 6mm threaded. So what we're going to do, looking at whatever material I could find that'll suit, and this will be adequate. It's metric material, 12x20. I've cut 2 very empirical lengths. You'll see what happens with those as we go along, but having cut them off, I'm just going to improve the ends on this pair, flip them round and do the other end, and then get them marked up for some drilling. And I'll show you what I plan as we progress. This is just bandsaw cleanup. I've just taken a light pass across there, and I'm going to put another 5 on and see if it'll do, purely to spruce it up a bit. Slight mark left on that one, but I'm not going to worry about it. This is just to just to get decent surfaces. I'm going to flip it round and do the other ends. Second pass on the other end, just another 4 or 5 thou. That'll do for that. But seeing as we're side milling here, we've got a nice collection of needles, which I'm trying to collect some up before I vacuum. These are the little devils that like to get under your skin, which I've said before, I think. So my little old picker-upper helps to get the worst, and that surface will do on there. I was just meant to say I was just running a conventional HSS half-inch, running at about 850, and I was going to use a carbide, but I hadn't got quite the reach on the spiral, and this is a closer spiral anyway. We just marked out that rear bar, and there's a slight ledge there which has made a useful reference. Let's take out these transfer screws before I lose them, and I'm going to put 2 sets of holes. Put those away. I'm going to put two sets of holes. One there, one there, which means I've got 2 options for position, and that's probably going to be the piece of rod I'm using. It's ground hard rod. I got the 2 sets of holes for mounting on the back. I've just used the wiggler to get my DRO settings, and I think I put a spot drill down, and then we should be able to go through with the clearance. Just spotting the last hole. Right, we'll put a drill in there. I'm going to go slightly large clearance, 1/4 inch, give me a little bit of leeway, and then we'll counterbore, and the counterbore I have actually needs a 1/4 pilot, so that's another reason. I'll get the other ones done. This counterbore drill isn't actually ideal. Just get rid of these chips. Clear those up just for a minute. Yeah, this is ground to just plus on 1/4, and I'm not bothered about having generous allowance on the hole. It's really not too important, and I don't think it's running absolutely true, but it's good enough. It's all I've got, and I think the result's alright. We'll get fairly good fit for the cap screws. Alright, that should do it, I think. Let's just drop one in a minute, one of the others, and yeah, it may not show from there. Anyway, that seems okay. Do you ever get a duh moment? Yeah, I do quite often. We're alright here. Of course, there's nothing underneath. On this one, I can't put it in the other way because it comes down on the vice rail. Oh duh. Anyway, you can probably see it's sitting pretty good. God, yeah. That was pretty silly. Do you ever get one of those days when, as I describe it, they call it body in first, brain in neutral? I screwed up again. Might as well come clean and be honest. So I got my nice counterboard holes there, but of course I marked up on the transfer screws on this side, and then having drilled through I should have flipped it over, and there's not really enough meat left to go down for another 1/4 inch counterbore. You see, what's meant to happen, the way I've done it here is the bar will go on the back. You can just about see it. It will go on the back and come up here like that. That's not what it's meant to do. It's actually meant to go on like that. Oh boy. Let's make another piece. Okay guys, it's deja vu time. Meaning you've seen it all before. Rinse and repeat. Oh dear me. What a screw up. I could have used the other piece. You know, this piece. But I wasn't happy with it going on the wrong way round from what I'd planned. Simple project, taking ages because I'm wasting time. Alright, let's get this final counterbore. Okay, let's check this out. Well, I guess that took me half an hour to redo. But fortunately I'd left the y-axis locked up. I kept a note of my coordinates on the x, so it was very little setting up, just the tedium of having to re-drill and counterbore. So anyway, there's our counterbore, just nicely below the surface there. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to try it on the back in a minute. But what I'm going to do, I had thought, let me just see, I've written on this thing and I don't know whether I can still see it. I'm going out of frame as usual. This piece, I was going to do a welding job on this, but to be honest, with material as thick as this, I think I've chickened out. I could probably do it, but I don't want to make a pig's ear of it. So what I'm going to do is this piece here is going to have 2 holes drilled in it. They'll only be tapped for 4mm. This will then be set up on some transfer screws, drill that counterbore for the 4mm cap screws, and then this end 2 holes to give 2 options for the 1/4 inch spacing rod, distance rod, and 2 end pieces there for 2 end holes tapped there for small set screws, which will probably just be cap screws actually, just to lock the bar in place. Alright, so let's see if that goes on the back. Yeah, that's how it was meant to be, instead of this dipstick screwing up. So anyway, that's going to be bolted onto that end. As I say, it's a cheat. I really don't want to screw it up by welding it, making a bad job. And then 2 holes on here for spacing, and this of course will undo and go this way, right, so that I'm just giving myself two options, that's all, while I'm at it. Doing this on the fly, I probably haven't thought it out well enough, but these holes, I need to have made them anywhere near as close together, and the chances are I will only use one most of the time. That's the result of a D-drill, so I'm just going to ream, which might leave them a smidgen loose actually, but we'll see. See what it's like. Oh, let's move over to the other one. 277. Unlock first. Yeah, I tell you what, guys. The hang on, too far. 277. Lock table. Yeah, I tell you what. Although I've got a very basic DRO set up, it is an absolute boon. I kid you not. Oh, that's nice. That's alright. I'll just run the other one down and finish that off, that bit. Alright, I've got to do some end drilling soon. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, I don't know why I put them so close together. I just sort of held some stuff up and thought, well, that'll do. Anyway, no big deal. I should probably say I only use one hole. I just bored these out for tapping 1024. Obviously probably only one of those in at a time. Just put a 3/16 in for a top chamfer. I've got to tap them now, and because they're a bit close I'll use a long and a short so the head's clear. Not as good as it could have been or should have been. Well, more or less the next to last stage, I guess. Two number 19 holes for tapping for the M4. Once I've done that, put in some transfer bolts and try and mark up for the long piece. Alright, I'll get a tap in there and just make a start on both holes and finish by hand. I think I said number 19 drill earlier, I meant 29. That would have been a bit oversized. I've just started one of these. I could probably go all the way down by hand, but I don't want to risk a power feed on a little tap like this. Oh, that took long enough. Well, I didn't get to video this bit, I got too wrapped up and forgot to put the camera on. Not that it was very exciting, but I had to do a cheat. I used the transfer screws to mark up from this piece, but I could not find a counterbore drill that was suitable for the diameters involved, so I've had to do a very fiddly method whereby actually I drilled small. I drilled an eighth, hoping I could use a cutter, but when I looked at it closely it wasn't in very good shape. So anyway, we'd flipped this over, and I set up again on the DRO just to make sure where we were, and I've achieved the counterbore by cheating. I've had to cheat. Not the first time. So we haven't got a flat bottomed counterbore actually. I've had to use an 8mm drill. Fortunately a very nice new one, cutting beautifully. So it does the job. That's the main thing. Alright, so I'm going to take this out, see if we can put the whole thing together, and on this piece I've got to shorten these bolts. Because they're close together, I'm going to have them so that the heads are just offset from each other. Should work, I think. Well, we got the darn thing together. The 5-minute job that wasn't 5 minutes. Doesn't look very much, does it? Just a couple of bits of steel. But as usual, as I've said before, setting up, marking up takes way more time than a lot of other jobs. We haven't machined this externally. I've actually thrown it at the belt sander. That's about all. I might tidy it up a bit, round off some edges, but bearing in mind this is functional. I'll just put it on the back of the vise a minute. Well, that's fitted on the back. That's about the best view I can get. You can see I've got the 2 sets of holes, and it's actually sitting. There's just a slight register on the back here, and that's what I use to set it up on. That's only been belt sanded. Of course, the first one I milled that, but that was the one that didn't go so well. So that's the position there, and the cross piece. Let me change a minute. Well, there it is, pretty basic. That's in the lower position. I said before, these holes are ridiculously close together. Anyway, that's probably where it'll be used. And then the top hole there, and we got the locking on each of these. So those are staggered so they don't get in each other's way. Alright, I'll do a wrap on this and then throw it at you. Well, there it is in all its simple glory. Can't get much simpler than that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the mistake. One or two improvisations and such like, but anyway, it's another small job out of the way and I should be glad to use it. So thanks for watching. See you soon.